Warriors were 9-0 at home. Jason Tatum can't hit the side of a barn last night, and they still win. Steph had it all going on early.
Yeah, initially in the game, there's a series of miscommunications. You're seeing one right there on what they're doing, interchanging parts as it relates to switching. And Steph got going and set a record for first quarter threes.
But then came the fourth quarter with the Celtics trailing by 10, and Jaylen Brown was the guy who got them going.
Look, this is what you need in a team sport. A lot of people will talk about Jason Tatum, but Jaylen Brown either scored or assisted on 20 of their team's first 23 points in the fourth quarter.
Derek White, midseason pickup, having a great playoffs, really since the birth of his child. And how about Al Horford in his first NBA Finals?
I mean, it was only a year ago where Al Horford was playing in OKC, was not playing, and people were wondering if he was still going to play in the league. And looking at him having a huge presence in the NBA Finals.
9 for 12 at three-pointers were the Celtics down the stretch. And there goes Horford, leading everyone, 26 points, 6 rebounds. Here are the Splash Brothers after the loss.
It's about winning 4 games by any means necessary. And for 42 minutes, we did enough to win the game tonight. That's not how the basketball works. So I think everything starts to become on the table when you look at trying to get ourselves back in the series on Sunday and taking it from there.
It was a tough loss, especially the way we did lose, squandering a 15-point lead. Very, very rare for us. So it's not the end of the world, and we'll regroup tomorrow, and we'll bring a much better effort on Sunday.
And with last night's loss, the Warriors fall to 21-3 in game ones in the postseason under Steve Kerr. They had one game, they lost game one in the 2019 NBA Finals against Toronto, and then they rallied from a 3-1 deficit in the 2016 Conference Finals to beat the Thunder in 7 games after they dropped that game one at home. So, Jay Will, good to have you here.
Good to be
here. So while we have you, let's get right to it. This absolute stunner of a fourth quarter. What did you see? How did the Celtics pull that out last night?
This is such a casual thing to say, but I laugh at it because for so many years, people were really trying to break up this duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right?
Sure, even mid-season this year,
yeah,
right?
We're talking about Jason Tatum having 13 assists, but we never talk about the impact that he has in the game unless Jaylen Brown doesn't go bonkers at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And a lot of times, Legs, it feels like people overlook how important Jaylen Brown is to this team, and just the contrast between how Klay Thompson moves and how prolific of a scorer he is to Jaylen Brown being, it seems like a Gen Z version of a millennial version of Klay Thompson, shows you the reason why the Boston Celtics won that game. He is the main point. Granted, Derek White, Al Horford made some critical shots, but Jaylen Brown's explosion in the fourth really helped them get there.
Yeah, that's what Horford said afterwards. He said it was all Brown, and we all just fed off of that coming out in the fourth.
The three-point barrage is what everyone's going to be talking about this morning. Man, did you see the way the Celtics shot the ball in the fourth quarter? Jaylen Brown is saved that game in the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. And one of those two guys you knew eventually was going to find their rhythm. He got going off the bounce, got to his spots, got to the rim, got to his mid-range, some pull-up threes. For me, that is what gave that team so much confidence to finish the game the way they did. But if he doesn't have that little mini individual run at the start of the fourth quarter, and they're still down 10-12 with 6 minutes to go, and Steph Curry comes back in the game, I think Golden State wins the game. So Jaylen Brown, to me, saved the night for them despite all the three-point shooting rate.
Right. I mean, Vince, especially with Tatum struggling the way that he was.
I thought Jaylen Brown understood the moment. He understood Tatum's not rolling. It's time for me to take a step forward. It's time to be a little more aggressive and be the go-to guy to make this happen. And I think he understands when Tatum going, he takes a back seat, if you would, as far as his aggressive. He still is aggressive, but I think they put the ball in his hand and let him go. And he was hitting shots. He was aggressive. He was getting into the paint, making plays for others. He did it all. And like Leg said, he doesn't have this early run in the fourth. We're talking about a different story.
And how about the Celtics just mentally 8-2 on the road now? They win 3 in Miami. They take game one. They take home court here. All right, so we are going to play a little game of fact or fiction. Jay, well, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Klay Thompson, all right, we just talked about him. He had 15 points in game one. Will he have a bigger impact in game two? I'm going to say he does have a bigger impact in game two. Is that fact or fiction?
I'll take fact on that. Look, a lot of people are going to kind of create these narratives today about, I'm really worried about the Golden State Warriors. This is a one-game series at a time. And I'm not going to tell you that Klay Thompson doesn't have the same burst that he's had multiple years ago, and I think you see that when he's guarded against the long athletic wings of Boston. But if there's a guy who has a high basketball IQ who can get going offensively, I can believe in Klay Thompson when it's all said and done.
All right, Vince, Steph Curry, we talked about it in the run-up to the series. He will win Finals MVP, fact or fiction? Wow.
I think this is the easy one for me, Hannah. If the Golden State Warriors are able to pull this off and win it, Steph Curry will be the Finals MVP because of his impact.
Okay, that's an if, though. I don't know about that, Vince. All right, Legs, the Celtics can win the series with the version of Jason Tatum that we saw last night. 12 points, 13 dimes. Fact or fiction?
I think that's fiction. Look, I understand his playmaking was a big part of it. I think Golden State overloaded to him a little bit too much, like overhelped. And it allowed some naked looks at the three-point line. At some point here, Jason Tatum's going to have to put his stamp on this series as a scorer. So, no, I don't think you can see similar stat lines throughout and expect the Boston Celtics to win this series.
All right, so here is the stat line. Tatum went 13 of 17 from the field on Thursday, had the fourth lowest field goal percentage by a player in his NBA Finals debut in the shot clock era. The lowest mark, by the way, belongs to Reggie Miller. He went 1 for 16 in Game 1 of the 2000 Finals. Ooh. Here's Tatum on his performance.
We're in the championship. We're in the finals. All I was worried about was trying to get a win, and we did. And that's all that matters at this point. So, I don't expect to shoot that bad again, but if it means we keep winning, I'll take it.
Okay, he shoots 18%, but he has a career high 13 assists. So how do we view his Game 1 performance, Jay Will?
They won. Ime Udoka spoke about it at the end of the game, and I think it's something really important for basketball fans to understand. There are a lot of times I feel like earlier in Jason Tatum's career, the only way he would impact the game would be by him scoring the ball. And you learn as you become older in this game that you can impact the game in a variety of ways, your effort on the defensive end and your ability to get the ball to people to make the right decisions. And sometimes it feels like even with guys like LeBron James, like he would get criticized for making the right plays. But that impact, because the position of success it puts your teammates in for them to capitalize on, is something that is extremely understated in sports, in my opinion. And that's what Jason Tatum was able to do last night.
Completely agree. Listen, this is why I've been saying all year he's put that seat at the big table now with the big boys in terms of the elite players in this league. The two main reasons are he's improved his handle to the extent that he can get out of situations. He can create the extra space that he needs. He's not a straight line dribble drive guy anymore or a mid-range going in one direction. He can go back and forth with the ball. And then the second thing is his vision, his anticipation of where double teams are coming from. He loves to spin. You could see last night he anticipated coming out of spins someone was going to be running. He was picking it up, not a count too late, at exactly the right time to get it to the weak side of the floor to let them pick them apart. Those are the two biggest areas of improvement, and that is why this guy now is an all-league player. He's an MVP candidate, I think, going forward every single year. You saw it on display last night.
And Vince, how hard is it to focus in on the things that Jay Will and Tim were just talking about when you're not hitting? How hard is it to put that frustration in the back of your mind?
It's extremely difficult because you're on the biggest stage in the moment that you've been dreaming about all your career, and you finally get there, and you always dream, I put up big numbers and I'm the superstar. But everyone looks at the stat sheet and the first thing they go to, Jason Tatum. How many points did he have? Oh, he didn't play well because he was 3 for 17. But the one thing about Jason Tatum is there's the cut to a jump shot. It wasn't there, but he was able to adjust and make plays for everyone else. Like I think Jay Will and Leg said, his growth, understanding the moment. And if you're a star player like Jason Tatum is, you understand, okay, my shot's not working. How else can I impact the game for us to win? And he did that.
He also had his teammates stepping up, particularly as we showed in the fourth. Everybody from White to Horford to Brown and then some. On the other side, though, Steph Curry didn't have a lot of help. We talked about this earlier. Who do you think should be stepping up for the Warriors?
I mean, look, first off, Kevon Looney's been playing well the entire playoff series, right? Him and Draymond Green can't combine for 8 points. And the biggest key for me is, look, Klay Thompson's different. Like, Klay Thompson's not going to put the ball down the ground. He's not going to beat you with his explosion. So, we always talk about, how would Boston be a young team, their first NBA Finals? Okay, Jordan Poole, his first NBA Finals. And to me, Legs, and we feel that sometimes there are times in my career where I've been sped up I play really too fast. I'm trying to make everything happen. I mean, he was minus 19 last night. He led all players on each team. So I think his ability to create shots adds a different dynamic that it didn't feel like they had last night as well for the Golden State Warriors.
Totally agree. I mean, he's had a breakout year. And look, it's a big stage. He's a young player. It's his first time going through something like this, but he did not look comfortable. And he's going to look at the film, and he's not going to recognize himself, and he's going to challenge himself. Now, Boston Celtics defense might have something to say with his game, too.
That's the thing,
but
too.
He has
right.
the ability to have a splash, and that's what they need. They need supplemental offense from him in a big way. It can't just be Steph. Obviously, Clay struggled. He'll be better. But Jordan Poole, to me, because of his ability to handle the basketball, he can create his own offense. He didn't really do anything last night aggressive at all in the game, and that's something he's going to lose some sleep over that. And let's see if he can come back and challenge himself.
Vince, you expect the Warriors to bounce back in Game 2?
I do, and I expect to see Jordan Poole play a lot better as well, like the guy said. And they can put Jordan Poole in some of the situations they put Steph Curry in as far as ball movement, because I think one-on-one play, it plays into the hands of the Boston Celtics. Yes, he can get his out of transition, but I like to see him get him in movement, get him with a live dribble, then allow him to attack, and I think he'll feel more comfortable.
And you wonder if Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and Derek White will shoot 13 of 21 from the three-point line.
Sure, right.